Raffle. We're going to get things cooking in just a minute here. Ooh, just give me a second. Go all the way down to the bottom. Sorry about this, guys. Just bear with me. Went to the Calgary Stampede yesterday. There we go. Massive love show to everybody in the world. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Hey, Ariola, massive love show to you. Hello. That's okay, Ariola. Ariola from the Philippines. Massive love show to you, of course. What else we got going on for tonight? Tonight, we're going to talk about the SHIB 50/50 raffle update. Of course, we have a carryover to the next day because we didn't sell any tickets tonight. We're still working on getting the website working. We're having issues with the mobile, bringing everything in the forefront of the mobile. So we're having issues with the mobile because majority of everybody who comes on to the raffle sees the mobile device, right? So everybody usually uses mobile. 90, I think it's 92% of the entire world uses mobile to communicate. So that being said, we're having issues with presenting everything in the mobile area with the website. Okay, Andy. So we are all about SHIB, cryptocurrency, about making you money, about bringing you awareness of SHIB. That's what we're about. The raffle is about speeding things up for SHIB. That's it. That's all the raffle does. Everybody wins in the raffle. So 50% of it goes to the winner. 50% of it goes to the reduction of SHIB circulating supply. That goes back into your pocket. Okay, so it pays to play. It's the only 50/50 raffle in the entire world that you actually make money. Why hasn't it caught on yet? That's a great question. And the reason why it hasn't caught on yet is because people don't want to share the information. They think it's a hoax. Basically, that's exactly it in a nutshell. Everybody thinks that it's not going to go anywhere. But that's why we don't do this all the time. Every single day we're supposed to be hosting it. Yesterday I did not host. I just got back off the grounds of the Stampede, the greatest outdoor show on earth, here in Calgary, Alberta. It was a riot. We started at 5 o'clock in the morning. Didn't get home till after 4. Massive love shout to Mark Anthony. Yeah, we didn't get back till after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were so tired we just died. We were supposed to go back out the next day or this last night to go enjoy the fireworks and take part in the festivities. We did not. We are way behind the times. We fell asleep on the couch. We went to bed around 10 o'clock. Yeah, and I didn't do any podcasting at that point. We are going to do an update for you on SHIB's price. It's at 4011387. Extremely undervalued as far as we know. And the reason why it's undervalued, and everybody's like, well, you saying it should be at 30595. It's nowhere near that. I'm like, that's exactly it. It is not nowhere near that. Now, is there a bit of manipulation going on? Absolutely, there's some manipulation going on, but we don't know from where. Trying to figure that out is like pulling a needle out of a haystack. Now, I did find Crypt Eye, and they do host. Got to keep in mind, okay? We'll get right into that. They do host SHIB, and they do have the wallet addresses on here. When you go look them up, so it says search symbol. You go SHIB is a symbol. Encrypt I. So it's CRYPTI. Massive love shout out to Shibbers from Mark Anthony. Massive love shout out to Mark. Massive love shout out to Andy. Massive love shout out to Ariola from the Philippines. Andy. Jeez, let me get this. Hanny. See how bad I am at this? Hanny, massive love shout out to you. And yes, I am working on doing the LeBron James show off against Drake. And I did call it, what did I call it? Are you ready to go to war? And then on the bottom of it is SHIB's price. Bidding war starts at 4 zeros, 1130, something like that. So it's something silly. Anyway, that gives you the idea. And then there's a Shiba Inu dog in the middle there with a little heart. Yeah. So you should be able to see that tomorrow. I'm going to host that tomorrow or tonight on the off when I'm done this live stream. Okay, so the gentleman, this is the prediction that I was told I got warned about, that I couldn't put Trump in the picture. Because last night, if you noticed, I had Trump in there. But if I went with the bigger, beautiful bill, Trump trumps it. So I couldn't put Trump in there, so I had to put this gentleman in there behind him that's supposed to resemble Trump, if you believe it or not. So it's CGI'd in. So that's who that is. I was thinking about JD Vance, but as soon as you put down their name, no, not a chance. They won't let you for some silly reason. So yeah, I'm making the Drake LeBron James photo for people that were listening to the broadcast yesterday, and making that for them. But I'm also putting a SHIB twist on it because that's what we represent is SHIB fully, and we're hopelessly committed to presenting SHIB in the best way we know and how the best foot forward, right? Right now, SHIB is at 11408. 11 4 zeros 11408. Extremely undervalued. Sorry about that. We're gonna get right into what was it I wanted to talk about? Okay, so I asked another AI. This is a great question. Eh? I asked another AI the breakdown of SHIB. Now, before I get too far into this conversation with AI, please take it with a grain of salt. Most AIs, I have to teach them of what's going on. And even after I teach them, they still go back to the fundamentals that they have in their data banks. And they don't understand SHIB. So I'm going to ask everybody simple questions. When you have a currency that's doing the opposite of your fiat currency, so your fiat currency, in order to pay the bills, they increase the price. Do they increase the price, or do they increase the amount of, do they print more money to pay the bills? And then therefore, when they print more money, what did they have to do first before they print it? They had to go to Congress to enable to pay the bills, but they also had to do what? They had to also leverage. So when they do their leveraging, what they do is they make bonds. So the bonds pay for their wages. Make sense? So when you issue more bonds, that means you print more money. And those bonds, they sell those bonds to other countries. Get a load of this, right? They sell it to other countries, or they give it to, or they sell it to the gold exchange. So in the last 10, 15 years, they've been selling it to the gold exchange to back up their currency because other currencies are backed up. So what they do is they back it up toward gold leverage on the gold standard, which is awesome, right? Considering that that's supposed to be your security net. And then you find out that, wait a second, they have the highest debt in the entire world. Why in the world would we want to do that? And massive love shout to Ball Cap. Massive love shout to Mark Anthony. Massive love shout to Henny. AICI. Ariola, massive love shout to her. She's saying she has to go. It's in the Philippines, so it's, yeah, so it's in the afternoon there, right? So everybody understand that we're getting close to the 8 o'clock, 8:09 Mountain Time in Canada right here. Yeah, Ball Cap, massive love shout to you. So want to keep that in perspective to what this is going through. So one of the major problems we have is, or I have, is the actual account of every single wallet holder that's in SHIB. Now, talk to the different levels of what is in there for SHIB. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's see here. According to this, SHIB has added 590 wallet addresses today. 2,835,363. Crypt-I. So it's CRYPTIEYE .io, not .com, .io. Votes 29,413. Price is approximately, and I'm not sure if that's Canadian, but it looks like it's something. Because it says it's at, yeah, see, again, accuracy is everything. So they're a little off. So it wouldn't hold that much weight on it. SHIB right now is at 15,000, basically 15,200, 2,000, 20,000. 520,000 SHIB. Right now it's sitting at 1519928. We are less than 70, well, just over 72. 72 SHIB holders from hitting the 20,000. Now we're adding, that means we are growing pretty fast, right? No, we're not growing fast enough, guys, according to that. Now we go to Crypt-I, and we are growing pretty quick. But if we look at SHIB whale holders, now please take this with a grain of salt because some of these are duplicated. I don't know why they duplicated. They don't have an accurate account of the burn wallet address. That's one problem. And then, of course, if they don't have an accurate account of that, how can we trust that they have an accurate account of everything else? That's the problem. You see where I'm having issues? But they do hold a certain amount of leniency, I suppose you can look at it that way, as to how many wallet holders are actually in it and where those top 10, top 50 wallet holders are sitting. And according to the stats, let me see where I have. I kick in and out. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. We're having some technical difficulties here. Like I said before, we're not able to host an event because you have to sell tickets to host an event. Okay. See, this is not accurate either. This is from AI. 56 billion SHIB was removed 2024. The whole amount, they don't have that, right? They're like 12 million short. But that was because I think they're only counting the burns from, that doesn't make sense either because it wasn't that high for January. So that doesn't make sense either. Again, they're believing that the ecosystem development team is going to bail you out, which isn't the case. Okay. So we wanted to get into the fiat currency, your fiat currency, because everybody's got no problem with this. They understand this concept. If you print more money, you're making more money. Does that make sense? Does everybody get that? That's what people believe. So the moment that something reduces the circulating supply of it, they figure it's bad because they're so used to going into debt, they've got no other concept and no other way to explain that going into debt is a good thing because it helps build the economy. You believe that? That's what they're brought up to believe. So anything going against that narrative is bad. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Well, even the AI doesn't think, there's no way exchanges are going to burn SHIB. When burning SHIB increases what, guys? What does burning SHIB to an exchange mean? It's been proven twice already. Okay, 4.5 to 4 billion to 5 billion SHIB in transactions per day when the 410 trillion was burned instantly. Once that was gone, the volume went through the roof. 4 to 5 billion SHIB. Dollars, not billion SHIB. Billions of dollars traded hands. Almost the entire supply changed hands on a daily basis. That's volume added to every single exchange that holds SHIB. Now, unfortunately, most of it was held by Ethereum. If Ethereum took 10%, just 10% of what they had made, which was $40 billion, so they would have had $4 billion to reinvest in SHIB in the form of a reduction. They could have taken that easily because that is what they made. They were given the $6-7 billion worth, but they reduced SHIB circulating supply with it. And then they gained how much? 9 times, right? 9 times what they would have had put in the first place. But they were given that supply. They burned it. Boom, baby. Didn't take advantage of it, didn't burn a single SHIB afterward. To increase that volume, to make sure that this wasn't just a one-time fluke, they could have just taken the 5%. Still, that would have been 2 billion SHIB, $2 billion worth of SHIB at 28, 29, somewhere around there, US, right? 4 zeros, 29, 3 zeros, or no, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, sorry, 4 zeros, 3 to 4 zeros, 28. If they would have taken $2 billion off the marketplace, that still would have been approximately 10 trillion SHIB gone. 10 trillion SHIB, we get another rise. What's the volume that we could be seeing? $6 to $7 billion in transactions. Easy, right? Because what happened? We burned 56 billion SHIB in 2024. Between 23 and 24, we burned 56 billion SHIB. What happened? We had increases of $6 to $7 billion in transactions every single day for 43 days. Now, granted, the 410 trillion really set a precedent because it went for 6 months, and it was daily volumes of $4 to $5 billion worth every single day, with skyrocket SHIB, by the way. Right? Everybody liked that news, right? So what happens when you burn that much SHIB? Every exchange would be beneficial. Every exchange would be beneficial, but only the ones that hold the most SHIB. So it becomes a hoarding. So AI doesn't understand that it doesn't drive price. They believe it doesn't drive the price, when in fact it does drive the price. because the volume picks up. They're saying that everybody starts to hoard it because of it. Exchanges don't care about the price. They only care about the money coming in, the volume. That's all they care about. They don't care about the price goes up or down. They're not trying to increase scarcity. They're just trying to increase their own profits. So that's why it's going to go up, because every single one of them want to make money. And if they see an avenue to make extraordinary sums of money, believe you me, they're going to be all over like white on rice. And everybody else better be on everybody better be in it, or you're going to lose out on it. And will it happen? Eventually it will. Could it happen tomorrow? Absolutely, it could happen tomorrow. But there's few things that you can watch for before it happens, so that you know for a fact that that's exactly what's happening. Like BlackRock buying out Coinbase, BlackRock buying out Bybit, BlackRock buying out. Instead of them buying SHIB, what they're doing is buying exchanges. So they start with the smallest denominator and work their way upward, because it doesn't cost them anything to make partnerships with the smaller investments. So the ones that are struggling right now to get the volume, as long as they are buying SHIB and then coming up with a strategy to reduce that circulating supply, BlackRock, Crypto.com, Binance are going to want it. Look, we don't have 10 companies like Microsoft fighting for each other. There's only one company because he bought out everybody, all the competition. AMD, Intel, same thing. They bought out competition that was giving them a run for their money. Now, Blueberry was doing the exact same thing until they collapsed. They were buying out a lot of information companies, but they weren't buying the right ones, obviously. If they're buying the right ones, it would have started with NVIDIA, Nokia, and Ericsson, right? Because Ericsson and them were top of their game back in the day. But they kind of lost market share with their co-founder, Apple and Samsung. Because even HTC lost to Samsung. Samsung bought them out. Like, you go down the list and you see all the companies that these guys have bought out, you understand what competition means. Okay, so small cap, ball cap. All you do is wait for the ride, because there's nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen, and you tell everybody it's going to happen, but if people don't believe you, it doesn't matter. But when it happens, you're going to be sitting back and looking at them going, well, you can buy it now, right? But you're going to spend $103. Next will be you're going to spend $1,300 to buy the exact same amount that you could have bought when you had it when it was $12. For $12, you buy 1 million SHIB. You can do that now, right? You can buy that right now, 12, and it's a lottery ticket. Exactly. Later on, it's not a lottery ticket anymore. Next is a little bit of an investment. It's $120 to buy the exact same amount. Okay. And then it's $1,200 to buy the exact same amount. You get where I'm going with this? And they're going to leverage against one another, trying to, because they don't want to get taken out. Nobody wants to get taken out, because when you get taken out, what happens? Anyone know? You're selling for a lot less money because of where the market cap is. That's why they want to keep it where it is. They don't want it around $300 billion. Nobody wants it around $350 billion market cap. You can't manipulate it anymore. All of a sudden, it's out of reach to manipulate. Right? Everybody agree with that? Once it gets to $350 billion market cap, it becomes extremely hard to manipulate it. You have to have trillions of dollars, not billions of dollars anymore. You need trillions of dollars, and then no one's got that kind of money to play with. So that's why we figured SHIB is roughly around. We know it's roughly around because we have 695 billion SHIB that was removed in 4 years. That didn't go noticed by the market because they don't accept value. They just don't. I don't know why. For cryptocurrency, they don't look at it as value. They can't look at a currency that is an actual currency that's like a forex. They just can't. They don't see the value in it. So until that happens, the investors or the small like us, ball cap are going to basically refuse SHIB until it gets to a certain level where it's going to start costing them some serious money to get in. And then they're not going to be able to buy 1,000,000. There's going to be a couple 100,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, and 100,000. Can you imagine 100,000 SHIB is going to mean the world to these people? But that's the truth of it. That's exactly it. And it's going to cost them 4 times more than you put in it yourselves. 10 times if you want to buy the exact same amount. So, like later on, you'll be, oh, you could, yeah, $120 is going to be a steal. Hey, Watson. Nice love, shout out to Watson. Watson's in the house. So, that's why we talk about the dynamics of SHIB compared to our fiat currency. Because our fiat currency, we're born into it. We just hold the line. Well, we don't just hold the line, we buy the line, right? We buy the line. So that's why we treat it like a lottery ticket. It hasn't taken off yet. It's okay. Still buy a lottery ticket's worth. Doesn't cost you very much, and you're getting in. Goes down, buy more. Treat it like a lottery ticket, though. Only buy it on Sundays. Because what's Sunday mean? Sell off Sunday. That's right. Sell off Sunday. Everybody understands Sundays. Yes, last Sunday we had a buying opportunity. No, we had a watch it and learn day because we had a sell off on Monday. Right. We had a sell off on Monday. Right now we have a bit of consolidation going on with SHIB. I hate that word, consolidation, because we don't know. And when we deal with different crypto agencies or different crypto news releases, we expect that they're telling us the truth. But when you look at Crypto Eye, it's very, very energetic towards SHIB's price action. But how accurate is it? That's the problem I'm having with it. Because not everything on here is as it is. Like the burn, no. It shows a different burn rate. Okay, so right now, as of the 5th of July, SHIB burn is 410 trillion, 750 billion, 233,000, 233 million, sorry, 280,532. The total supply left, this is very important, and not the total supply. The total supply left in circulation is 589 trillion, 249 billion, 766 million, 719,467 as of right now. Now, this is going to be interesting. We have over 4,377,925% increase in reductions. But if you look at it, we have only approximately 8.6 million SHIB reduced in the last 24 hours. So, again, we're still waiting for the 1 billion, guys, from Binance. We still haven't had that yet. Yeah, massive love shout out to you, Babe's channel, Ball Cap, Watson, massive love shout out. We don't miss anybody. 8 hours ago, we had 33,173 reduced, 48,724 SHIB reduced, 250,000 SHIB reduced, and 8,467,601 SHIB reduced. Now, that doesn't mean a lot, right? It should mean everything. Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, women of all ages. This means a lot more than people say it does. It doesn't seem like much. Mark Anthony. Right. Yeah, so what does that mean for everybody? That means very little to you or I? No, that should mean everything to you. Because every time we have a reduction, what is that doing? It's giving you money back in your pocket. Now, it doesn't seem like it, right? But you got to think of it this way: it's 8,468,000 plus the 250,000 plus the 48,000 plus the 33,000 that no one else is going to be able to buy in the world. So that's taken out of the circulating supply of SHIB. Now, that might not seem like much, but you think about it, how much is given back to the community in fiat currency in the U.S. when it's continuously going further and further in debt? Now, that being said, Trump has obviously gone and done amazing things for the US of A. I don't know if anyone follows the US of A, but he has done amazing things with the big, beautiful bill that just got released. So that's going to increase what? Jobs? Absolutely. Is it going to increase investment strategies? It's going to be going back into the States? Absolutely. Why? Well, because now companies don't have to worry about the HR part of it, dividing up the taxes, because there's no tax on tips. So they don't have to do up a form for that. They don't have to do up a form for how many work hours that you had to do overtime. It's going to be automatically exempt for the hours that you work overtime. So that means that you don't have to worry about collection. So that's going to be huge. So that it's just going to come across as that's your money, right? Work overtime, it's not even regular time, it's overtime. So again, they don't have to account for that. Just like the people won't have to put it on their records for the IRS. Exactly. It's going to be good for Americans. Absolutely. Is it going to increase what? Your personal divisible income? Absolutely. It's going to give you more money back in your pocket. So does that benefit all Americans? And it benefits the working class Americans. Not exactly all Americans, but it's going to benefit the working class. And why are the Democrats so pissed off? Well, because now the billionaires that invested so much money into the Democrats and they lost by a landslide now have to readjust their wallets and their playbooks for their lobbyists that they held accountable for doing these things that they wanted them to do. So immigration was a big part of that, bringing more people in so they could bring them and put them to work for less money, because the minimum wage went up because of Democrats, right? They increased the minimum wage. So they don't want to pay it. Corporations don't want to pay that minimum wage. They want to pay a lot less. So an immigrant, they can pay them 4 times less, lobby for the government gives them more kickbacks so they can give them more money. It's a win-win situation for them. But when it doesn't work out, it doesn't work for them either, because now they got to pay these high wages that they weren't prepared to in the first place. So they get behind the judges, they get behind the lawyers, they get behind the media, and that's how they start. And that's what's going on in Canada. So you want to see the Democrats work at play? Just take a look at the Canada politics. You'll see exactly how it's played out. Now, how does that work for SHIB? It works the same way, except that nobody's catching on to it. And the reason why no one's catching on to it, I'm believing it's that misdirection. Look over to your right when I'm playing with you on my left, right? So in dogs, it would be like, look at my hand, and that dog looks at your hand on the right, and then you touch behind its head thinking there's a ghost there. So it starts to move its head towards it, and then you're poking the dog with the other hand on the other ear. Exactly. So then you just end up playing with it. Exactly same idea. SHIB is doing the opposite of what the currencies are doing. So instead of minting more or printing more when they get into trouble, it's reducing the circulating supply constantly. And is this just going to add? Because we're only burning a couple of times a day or a couple of times every other day. We're not consistent with our burn methods. That's why the SHIB Raffle was supposed to be so powerful, because it was supposed to bring awareness to the entire world quickly, very quickly, speed things up drastically. Well, if you didn't get in right away, you would have a chance, because we expect a delay of 4 months after a massive burn. So what's a massive burn? Someone asked me that before. Was it you, Mark Anthony, that asked me about massive burns before? Massive burns are anywhere between 20 to 30 billion SHIB reduced. Now, is that a lot? Yes, that's a lot. If you reduce 1 billion SHIB a day for 7 days, it's 7 billion SHIB. Now, if you do that for a whole month, that's over 31 billion SHIB. And then, of course, everybody would say, you know how many years it's going to take to reduce the circulating supply of SHIB if you keep this up? Here's the thing people don't tell you about, and this is the truth. It's the stepping stones. Because once they start seeing who's burning it and where the burn's coming from and how much liquidity is being created because they're burning it, then they understand, hey, wait a second. This is not something that's just fly by the night and gone tomorrow. This is actually going to build on itself. It's people are going to start realizing if I start burning it, everybody's going to start hoarding it. No, because everybody wants to make what? Money. So the smart people are going to be the ones that hold it. No, they're going to be the ones that hold majority of it, not all of it. Of course, once it gets to a certain level, everybody's going to start piling out of it. Only because we got more people coming into it on a drastic level, because everybody wants to make money. So that being said, the smart people are no, because they don't know if it's going, how fast it's going to go down. Remember, everything is based on the reductions. So we got more reductions. Of course, we're going to have higher volume, and volume leads to more money. More money leads to more buying. More buying leads to more burns. Burns, burn money. Keep repeating itself. So it's just going to explode. Then you have McDonald's. They want to make money. They're going to buy SHIB. You got Burger King. They want to make money. They're going to burn SHIB. And is it going to happen on a global stage? Absolutely, because SHIB isn't just in the America. It's not just in the Americas. It's not just in Canada. It's not just in Mexico. It's not just in Argentina, El Salvador, Peru, Chile. It's not in any of those countries. It's in all of those countries. So UK, France, Spain, all of them are in trouble. Can SHIB bail them all out? No, it can't. It can't. It just does not have enough supply. All of a sudden, we don't have enough supply. What are you talking about? We have 589 trillion. No, we don't, because they're going to have to reduce it to gain market share so that they can pay off that debt of theirs. They're going to leverage on SHIB too. There's not enough SHIB because they'd have to burn a massive amount of it, and it can't bail them all out. Maybe the U.S. and the U.S. alone. Japan, it could bail out Japan. Maybe Argentina. Maybe it could bail out Madagascar. The Congo, maybe it could bail out the Congo. Jamaica, Trinidad, Costa Rica. Yes. Can it bail them all out? No. Why? There's just not enough supply. All of a sudden, the 589 trillion is just not enough supply to bail them all out. And that's exactly true. That's exactly true. You don't understand. Once it starts, it's going to explode. The light bulb is going to go off. Dong, 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 dong. And they're going to understand that reducing supply gains them more volume. More volume gives them more money. More money gives them more burns. More burns gives them more volume. Repeat, 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 repeat. So what happens to the little guys? Everybody benefits from it. Now, that being said, the banks, national banks jump in. It's going to be manipulation. And if you can hold it together long enough, you'll see it come to fruition. You'll be multimillionaires before you know it, but you'll have a lot of stomach problems. You'll watch it take huge dives. You'll watch it take huge bounces off the bottom, only to come back to the bottom, retest the bottom, go back up again, test the top, won't get to the top, bounce off that, go right back down to basically the bottom of the barrel, then come back up. Now, what's going on? What's going on is manipulation. They want it all, and they're trying to scare the piss out of you so they can get it all. That's what you can count on from bankers, because that's what they want. They want you to be in debt forever. They want you miserable. They want you owing them everything and them taking everything in return. That's what bankers do best. That's exactly what they do. Now, when you become a banker, maybe you'll do it a little differently. But once you're a multi-billionaire, everything changes. It's all about what? I need people working for me. Exactly. If they're not working for me, that means they are not working for me. So I have to get them working for me. So if they're wealthy like me, are they going to work for me? Hell no, they're not going to work for you. They're not going to work for anybody. They're going to be what? Independent. They're going to be financially well off. So that means they're not going to work for anybody except for the ones they want to work for. So anything that's helping somebody or benefiting from somebody, that's exactly where they're going to stick the money to. Okay, so the validators, you're talking about Shibarium. Okay, everybody put up your hand. Do you believe that Shibarium is going to get SHIB to the moon? Do you believe that? Do you think that Shibarium is going to help each and every individual SHIB investor? Ball cap. Shibarium did burn 556 billion SHIB back in 2023 and 2024. It burned total of 56 billion SHIB, worth about $302,000 USDT. No small feat. We're not saying that. Created enormous wealth for all the crypto exchanges that never took any advantage. Even Shibarium didn't burn one single SHIB afterward. Didn't burn it at all. In fact, Lucy came out in January of 2024 and said that the burns didn't do a single thing for SHIB, SHIB, Shiba Inu token. She made that statement because she knew they weren't going to burn another single SHIB ever. And then on March 3rd, SHIB takes off. 14 days, it hits 4 zeros from 5 zeros, 7, 9 to 4 zeros, 5, 5. 4 zeros, 5, 5. Then it comes back down. Now it came back down quickly, but the transactions kept building. So we're still at the 6 to 7 billion transactions per every day. Okay, so every day the exchanges were making roughly about 6 to 7 billion transactions USDT per day. Now, how many transactions was that? That's a lot of transactions. And they're sharing it between how many different crypto exchanges? Well, on Shibarium, they're exchanging, but what happened to Shibarium? Nothing. Shibarium went nowhere. Because why? It's too late. They hard forked it just before they did the last massive burn. That's 5 hard forks. That's dropping the price down to less than 1 cent per transaction. That's insane. How are you ever going to... Hey, massive love shout to Leah. Massive love shout out to Gabriel. Massive love shout to you. Yeah, thanks, guys, for coming. Awesome, guys. It's awesome. Love to see us. Hold on, guys. I'm just changing some things around here. Oh, okay. Yeah, massive love shout out to Gabriel. Massive love shout out to Leah. Yes, so you understand that now, Ball Cap? What happened to Shibarium? Shibarium didn't do a thing for SHIB. Remember that they were supposed to do what for SHIB? Gas fees for Shibarium. Dropped it like a hot potato. As soon as they were coming up with the release date, they dropped it. Now, what does that tell you? When Shibarium drops SHIB as the gas fee, when they promised, they said, written in stone, that SHIB was going to be Shibarium's gas fee. Then it doesn't matter how many validators they have. Once they make that statement and retract it, oh, but no. We are going to reduce SHIB circulating supply, but we're reducing it at a lower rate of less than 1 cent. Wow. And it's going to be off of Bone. Now, Bone just got delisted from one of the exchanges, and Lucy's mad. The whole development team is mad because it got dropped from an exchange. Got delisted. And it didn't get delisted because the volume. They delisted it for some other reason. They said it was depreciation. But I believe it was because of manipulation. They said it was supposed to do something, and they were expecting this volume to pick up on SHIB. It dropped off on SHIB. So, and they're not blaming it on SHIB because SHIB still has high numbers. It's just that Bone don't, and everybody's walking away from something that continually lies to you, saying they're going to do all these magnificent things for SHIB, and then all of a sudden, they just one by one they drop it off, saying no, 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 we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And if everybody remembers Into the Block about what SHIB said, what the SHIB ecosystem development team said about where they're going to go and what they're going to do for SHIB, and every time they make a statement, everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Because every time they make a statement, it falls apart. It literally falls apart. There's a song like that, isn't there? She just falls apart. I have another one too, but the other one's I'm peeing in the snow, gazing down the hole. Reminds me of a lot like spring. Yes, there was a lot of hype on Shibarium, but what happened is right. Yeah, so that's the problem with Shibarium and the ecosystem development team, untrustworthy. Every time they tell you that there's a hoax, if someone's telling you something else, it's hilarious because they're the ones making the statement. So don't trust a word that they have to say because basically they ratted themselves out when they said that. That they can't be trusted. Excuse me for a second. Little dry. Yeah. So that's the nuts and bolts of that particular part. And then, of course, fighting with AI is always fun. Because it's just common sense. I just think it's common sense. Anything that's reducing its circulating supply on a constant basis is adding value to that currency. If you mint it, everybody says the exact same thing. If you mint more money than you make, that's devaluing your dollar, isn't it? Everybody believes that, right? Yeah, that's what they said. Every time you mint more money than you currently have, you're putting more money out there, devaluing your currency. So what happens when you reduce the circulating supply? Shouldn't you be adding value to that currency if you're reducing the circulating supply? Well, yeah, you would think. Exactly. So we don't have utility in the form of real life utility for SHIB, but we do have real life utility for it under the embargo that we're reducing the circulating supply because the value is so small. And that's the truth. So the real life balance isn't so. That's true. No one's going to take their currency and go and buy McDonald's with it unless you're crazy or unless you have trillions upon hundreds of trillions of SHIB. Then you might go and buy a burger or fries. And then later on, you'd be like the Bitcoin pizza guy, which I'm like Jason Cox always points out to me since I came on and started talking about the Bitcoin pizza guy, May 22nd, right? And everybody knows who he is. So who in their right mind is going to say, hey, guess what? I bought 2 McDonald's, 2 Big Macs for some SHIB. I spent 500,000 SHIBs. And then later on, SHIB is worth $200 or $300. Well, it's a very expensive sandwich. When you spend 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, 600,000 SHIB for a Big Mac. Massive love shout out to Stars. Yeah, massive love shout out to Stars. How are you? Where are you from? Did we do our no, we didn't do our shout out to the world, right? So massive love shout out to North America, of course, Canada and US. Massive love shout out to South America, Mexico, Brazil, Peru, Argentina, Congo, losing geographics here. Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil. Massive love shout out to BTC, 108,000. That's right, 108,000 for BTC and climbing. Let's have a look at where are we here? Hold on, BT. 108,149.11. USD 108, 313, 113, 312.82. SHIB right now is at 11379, close to that 1140 mark. Can we expect a sell off tomorrow? Usually that's when we get our sell offs. Is yeah, 108,149, 147.77 currently. That's where BTC is right now. Pepe. Anyone care about Pepe? Got some green candles anywhere? Got some green candles on Meow UST at 2026237, up 0.27%. And we have another one, MNT USDT at 56 cents, up 0.09%, if anyone's interested. Cardano, that's a good one. ADA. 57 cents. So it's down 0.57 cents. Go back to SHIB because we cover SHIB, right? Up, down 0.58. And here's the best part. 5.8 trillion SHIB traded in the last 3.5 hours. Very interesting, huh? Okay, so we have we're in July. We're 1 month away from seeing the start of the bull run. Anyone interested in that? And why wouldn't see that? Just think. Yeah, that's a pretty expensive pizza. $20 million pizza. Yeah, who wants to be like that guy? Yeah, well, he's got, what is it, 30,000 Bitcoin? Like, that's a lot of Bitcoin. Or is it 300 Bitcoin? I can't remember if it's 30,000 to 3,000. 30,000 to 3,000 Bitcoin that he lost on his hard drive. Now, that guy's probably racing around somewhere. That's a lot of Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin. Yeah, I'd probably be doing the same thing. I want to find it. The moment I find it, I'm going to be happier. And yeah, because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And he can leverage it, become a bank himself at that rate, at this junction, especially with the ETF building every single day. We have new money flowing in. Most of the money that was in Bitcoin has gone out of Bitcoin. That was from the crypto family that started the mess of the run up. So yeah, they're cashing out big time. Most of them got up when it went above 75,000. Just so that you know, 80% of everyone that was in Bitcoin for years has sold off when it went to 75,000. That's an all-time high. So they're telling everybody that it's going to go to 1 million. Those are probably the people who were selling it when they had 75,000. And now it's at 108,000. They're probably kicking themselves in the butt saying, hey, could have waited a little while longer, made some more money. But that's nor here nor there. We got new money coming in, and that's like everything else. And the same thing with Tesla, new money coming in, old money going out, because everybody wants to make money and jump in and jump out. It's a way of life. We're going to see that with SHIB, absolutely, but you're going to see it on a much grander scale. A lot of people don't understand what SHIB is, even today. To this day, they don't understand a lot of what's going on. I would say about 80% are not focused on SHIB at all. Yeah, at 600. What happened when it was at, um, yeah, well, you know what happened when it get to 600, right? Somebody confiscated all of it. Now, if I went on Ask AI, did US confiscate all of BTC? It would come up and say, no, it did not confiscate it all. How much did it confiscate? 99.4. So it's like, are you retarded? So, but yeah, it's true. It's right. It did not confiscate it all. It confiscated everything that was active, though. So people who didn't sell it or didn't get rid of it kept it, and the government was filing suits against it to get everybody's Bitcoin. So yeah, it didn't gain it all, but it got 98.99% of it. So less than 2% of BTC was confiscated. So it didn't get it all. That's true. It didn't. Like the guy that lost his in 3,000 Bitcoin or 30,000 Bitcoin, it doesn't get it either. Because why? Because it was in the ground somewhere, or it was in his, and he forgot all about his hard drive. Yeah. Sad, huh? That's the truth of it. You know, and to be honest with you, they did the exact same thing to gold back in the 1929, right? They were asking everybody for their gold, saying that they needed the gold, and they were giving it to you. They're giving you, they're basically confiscating it, giving you the bottom dollar for it. Like if it was worth $1.58, they're giving it to you for $1 or for 58 cents, keeping the dollar, saying that it's lost its luster and we need the gold to back up our currency because I'm sorry, we overspent, but now we're asking you for your gold. And we're going to pay you, but we're not going to pay you market value for it. And then not even 2 years later, what did they do? They sold it for triple the amount. Thank you very much. Yeah, now that we've screwed you, we're going to screw you some more by selling it back to you for triple the amount that we bought it from you for. So it was a 158. Now we're selling it to 204. What? Yeah. Nice, huh? You know, $2.04 back then was a lot of money. A lot of money. Considering that you made 10 cents a week. Ouch. Ouch. Right. Not like in today's standard, right? Like your grandfather, 80 some years old, 90 some years old, when they started working, it was $15 a month, and they had to lift 100 pound. They had to lift 100 sacks, 100-pound sacks of straw for the horses and for the cattle, right? 100 pounds, and they worked 12-hour days. Ouch! Ouch! Can you say ouch? How much do they pay in taxes? Next to nothing. My dad made $3.65. The amount that he paid in taxes out of his $3.65 was about 40 cents. He got to keep more of his money than he did way back when than what we do now. They would get their bill. Their bill would be about $104. They would keep approximately $400 a month. Okay, so 100 of it went to pay the bills. No, 76 paid everything. Then you had the rest of your money to pay for all your necessities. So, like your rent, everything. Like you think about it, 76 to $80 covered everything for the month, and then everything was yours. $200 or $300 was yours. Now it's the opposite. Now it's completely screwed. You get to keep 10% of your money, and the rest of it goes towards your bills. Awesome, eh? And then you got to somehow survive on that. Like that's your groceries are extra. Your insurance for your car, gas for your car. Like all of a sudden you got no money. You wonder why, and then why you want then the government wants to know why they can't get any more money out of you. Except like I have to make more money for you to get more money out of me. That's just the way it is. I need, and it's always a lagger. Wages are always lagging, and that's the worst part about it. And if you don't have a company that doesn't understand that, or they don't understand that inflation takes hold, they don't cover that cost, then it goes back to you to budget for that cost. So that means more stuff is cut, and then they expect you to go and spend more money. So where the hell am I going to spend it? This is why SHIB is so important, because everybody needs to understand what SHIB is going to do for every single person out there, because it does not depend on somebody losing and somebody gaining. Everybody has everybody gains in SHIB because of the reductions, and it feeds on itself. That's the best part, right? That's the best part about SHIB. It feeds on itself. So therefore, if it's always feeding on itself, because it's a snowball effect, right? Once it catches on, everybody is going to benefit from it, because everybody wants to make money, and that's the bottom line. Yeah, well, you know what they say, right? The only thing is for certain in life is death and taxes. That's your two guarantees in life. Well, you can be guaranteed that SHIB is eventually going to go up because of greed. Yeah, never-ending rat race is right, Mark Anthony. That's why we're into SHIB. That's why we love it so much, because we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to get there. We don't know if it's going to be today, tomorrow, next week, next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, but it's going to eventually happen where it's going to explode. Now, you could stick it in other stuff, but the only thing that I would say is that look at the valuations of everything else. So everything is dependent on others. You notice that? If you looked at Pepe, it's dependent on the community. As long as the community is behind it, it's going to always gain. So its volume is incredible on Pepe. And that's why exchanges cater to it, because their volume is higher than SHIB. SHIB is being highly manipulated, though. And they're forcing everybody to buy into Pepe. They're forcing everybody to buy into all this other exchanges, because none of them add value constantly. SHIB is the only one that adds value constantly. So you please keep that in mind. What they're trying to do is trying to manipulate the marketplace to get you out of SHIB. That's how I look at it. Because if you look at it and say, okay, what company in the world is constantly giving me share buybacks at value? None are. Not a single one. SHIB is. So is SHIB important? SHIB should be the top front liner for every single company in the world. In the world. Because they all want to make money. And they all want to make enormous sums of it. And they always think of other ways to make more money. They just haven't figured it out yet. Or they have, and they want it all for themselves. And they don't want to buy it out from anyone later on. They want to get in as quickly as possible with the smallest amount of volatility. And that's how they do it. That's how they manipulate it. Anyway, I'm Will, your host of the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 Raffle. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I really appreciate every single person on the planet. Massive love show to you, to Europe. Massive love show to Asia, Russia, China, Mongolia, Spain, France, Greece, Germany, Ireland, Scotland. We don't want to forget about anybody. Antarctica, Australia. Massive love show to you. Right. So that's awesome, right? So for tax exemptions. And I was talking about this before, because I think that every country in the world should exempt cryptocurrency, because if cryptocurrency goes through the roof, which it will, because it's deflationary and everybody else is printing money like it's their own personal piggy bank, which is awesome. That's how you bail yourself out of situations. But when you bail yourself out, you leave yourself vulnerable. So you can't purchase anything outside your own country. That's horrible, right? You want to purchase something that's not made in your country, you don't have any options anymore. because your dollar is devalued so badly that you can't purchase outside your own country. That means the goods that are sold in your country are basically the only things that you will see. So you don't have any insight of something else. And if you did, now you can't taste it because now you can't afford it. That's the whole purpose of it. And I'm Will, your host of the SHIB World 5050. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Starship. That's awesome. Yeah, no problem. Ball cap. Take good care of yourselves and each other. Mark Anthony, always good night. Have a good evening. Uh, the big beautiful bill is about helping every single person in America become more wealthier than what they were before, so that all your taxpayer dollars weren't going to a silly establishment that was continually spending money to benefit the billionaires. Because that's what it's all about, is helping the people. Hooray, yeah. God bless each and every one of you. Jesus loves you. We always talk about John 3:16. John 3:16, God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, for the forgiveness of sins. Amen, hallelujah. Don't pass the ammunition. Throw roses. Love each other. Go forth and understand what that means, right? That is that love that Jesus gave to every single one of us. That his death means something to everybody, so we would sin no more. That we understood the cost of our sin was his blood that was shed for us to have eternal life in heaven. Thanks be to Lord Jesus Christ. That is awesome. It hits you every time in the heart. He didn't even know us, and he still loved us enough that he sacrificed himself for us. That's awesome. His message was, because he never written any books. He was a teacher. He never taught in any schools. He's our Lord and Savior, our Messiah. And I love it when people say he's coming again. In Jesus' name, Jesus works through all his Christian believers. He's here, working through all of us so that we can spread the word of the Gospels of Christ. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Take good care. Have a great and wonderful evening, everybody. Cheers. Until tomorrow, we'll want to settle down. Until tomorrow, we'll just keep moving on. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Take good care of yourselves and each other.